Hello, this is Wisdom Library. Quick question. How many of the plans you made in the last 3 years actually went exactly as planned? Probably you can count them on one hand, right? I thought about this myself. Early 2020, who could have predicted that one virus would stop the entire world? Looking at my friends around me, a friend in his late 20s was job hunting when hiring completely stopped. A colleague had travel plans, but borders closed. And did anyone plan for housing prices to skyrocket like this? Or predict Bitcoin would hit $70,000, then crash to $20,000? Let's get even more personal. How many of you are living exactly according to the plans you made as college freshmen? Your major changed. Your career path changed. Even your relationship status probably changed. Every time this happens, we think, oh, I didn't plan properly. I lack forecasting ability. I need to make more detailed plans next time. But wait, is that really the problem? What if we're thinking about planning itself all wrong? Someone asked exactly this question. A philosopher named Karl Popper, born in Austria in 1902, lived until 1994. But who is this person, you might wonder? Popper is one of the 20th century's most influential philosophers, called the father of modern scientific method. He's the person who established the standards for what we now call science. And interestingly, Silicon Valley startup culture's fail fast, learn fast philosophy has its roots in Popper's thinking. The way companies like Google and Facebook rapidly iterate small experiments to improve services, that comes directly from Popper's falsification philosophy. So the apps you're using right now exist partly thanks to Popper's philosophy. But this man's life itself was a series of uncertainties. When he was in his mid-30s, Hitler invaded Austria. Overnight, all his plans crumbled. As a Jewish person, he had to flee to New Zealand. Popper left us this insight. What's the best theory in science? Not one that can never be wrong, but one that can admit when it's wrong and be modified accordingly. This is called falsificationism, and it's the method scientists worldwide use today. But this idea spread beyond science into the business world. Silicon Valley's fail fast, learn fast culture is exactly this. Instead of spending years developing a perfect product, launch a small version quickly, see user reactions and improve from there. The Instagram, WhatsApp, Netflix you use, these services constantly update with new features, right? That's Popper's philosophy in action. Instead of creating perfect services all at once, they continuously experiment and improve. Wait, aren't you curious what Popper meant by open society? This concept is exactly what we're going to explore today. Here's Popper's first shocking truth. Perfect planning is a totalitarian illusion. Hitler's 1,000-year Reich plan, Stalin's 5-year plans, you know what they all had in common? They all had perfectly crafted blueprints. When to do what results to expect. Everything was predetermined. But the outcome? Millions of casualties and eventual collapse. Think about modern companies. Remember Nokia? They once held 40% of the mobile phone market share. A corporate giant. They also had perfect 5-year, 10-year plans. But they failed to predict the smartphone variable. This perspective on uncertainty and the trap of planning is fascinating, isn't it? Subscribe and like to join us as we dive deeper. Let's look at Popper's first core insight. Uncertainty is natural. Let me explain this through science. Do you know how accurate weather forecasts are? Up to 3 days ahead, they're about 80% accurate. But beyond a week, it drops to 50%. Basically like flipping a coin. It's not because meteorologists are incompetent. The weather system itself is so complex that future prediction has inherent limitations. You've heard of chaos theory, how a butterfly's wing flap could cause a hurricane? Life is the same way. Someone you randomly meet on the street tomorrow could change your life. A single YouTube video could open up a new career path. Many YouTubers share exactly these kinds of stories. So, is there any reason to fear uncertainty? Isn't it more natural to accept it? Second core insight, falsifiability. This is a truly revolutionary idea. Being able to be wrong is actually a strength. Let me give you a concrete example. Imagine you're starting a YouTube channel. Person A makes this plan. 1 million subscribers within a year. Monthly income of $5,000. Perfect plan, right? Person B thinks differently. Let me upload 4 videos per month and see the response. If views are low, I'll change the concept. A plan that admits it could fail. Results after 1 year? Person A was frustrated because things didn't go according to plan. But person B found their unique content through multiple trial and error cycles. Why? Because person B admitted they could be wrong, so they could keep adjusting. Popper explained this through science. What's the best theory in science? Not one that can never be wrong, but one that can admit when it's wrong and be modified accordingly. Same applies to your life plans. A plan that can be flexibly changed when wrong is more useful than a perfect plan that can never be altered. Third core insight, the power of gradualism. This is a truly practical approach. Small experiments rather than revolution. Better questions rather than perfect answers are where real power lies. Looking at actual success stories makes this easier to understand. When Jeff Bezos started Amazon as an online bookstore, did he have a plan to become the world's largest distribution company? No. First, he just sold books, then CDs, then electronics, expanding one step at a time. It wasn't a perfect master plan from the beginning, but a series of small experiments. A good Korean example is Badal Minjok, Korean food delivery app. It started as a simple delivery app. But look at it now. Delivery, pickup, reservations, payments, even advertising. It keeps evolving. Now let's see how to apply this personally. I'll specifically explain 3 ways to run your life as an open system. First, hypothetical experiment mindset. This is a real game changer. Approaching with, "What if I try this?" method. For example, let's say you're currently in marketing but want to transition to development. What's the traditional approach? Quit your job and attend a boot camp? Or self-study for 2 years, then make a one-time career switch? But the hypothetical experiment approach is different. First, try building a simple website on weekends. See if it's actually fun, if it suits your aptitude. Then make a small app as a side project. Then. What's good about this? You minimize risks while maximizing learning. If you discover midway that it doesn't suit you, you can find another path without major losses. Many developers actually transitioned their careers this way. If you watch famous developer YouTubers, most say they started with small projects. Second, falsification data utilization. This is truly a mindset revolution, converting failures into learning material. Let me give you a concrete example. Say you started Instagram personal branding. First post, 5 likes. Second post, 3 likes. Your morale crashes, right? Traditional thinking goes, "Oh, I have no talent. SNS isn't my thing. I should give up." But falsification data utilization thinks differently. Getting 5 likes means I've gained valuable information that this concept doesn't work. So I can try a different concept. If you listen to Instagram influencer stories, they failed dozens, hundreds of times initially. But they learned something with each failure. What time to post, which hashtags work, which concepts get good responses. There's that famous story about Edison failing 9,999 times inventing the light bulb. But he said, "I didn't fail. I just discovered 9,999 ways that don't work." This is the core of falsification data utilization. Failure isn't failure. It's valuable information. Third, turning uncertainty into competitive advantage. This is a truly powerful strategy. When others wait for certainty, you experiment first and learn first. Think about the COVID period. Everything was uncertain. When it would end, what would happen to the economy? But who succeeded during this time? People who waited for certainty. No, people who moved quickly despite uncertainty. Those who started online shopping malls, delivery services, online courses, they turned uncertainty into opportunity. Recent example. When ChatGPT emerged, no one knew for certain how it would develop or what impact it would have. But people who adapted quickly are now reaping major benefits. Uncertainty is an ocean of opportunities. Those who wait only for certainty miss opportunities, but those who embrace uncertainty can learn first and grow first. Now let's look at specific practical methods, one by one. First, hypothetical experiments instead of grand plans. I'll explain with a real case. I know someone who worked at a large corporation. In his early 30s, he suddenly wanted to start a cafe. What would the traditional approach be? Quit the job, attend cafe entrepreneurship school, invest millions for a location, do interior design, go all in at once. But if it fails, life gets reset. But the hypothetical experiment approach was different. First, he opened weekend pop-up stores. For a month, he sold coffee at different locations every weekend. Then, he tried selling coffee beans online. The result? Within 3 months, he realized cafe entrepreneurship was harder than expected. But importantly, he realized this without major losses. And in the process, he discovered he had talent for online marketing. Now he works as a marketing freelancer, earning more than when he was employed. If he had gone all in on the cafe from the beginning, he probably would have faced major failure. This is the power of hypothetical experiments. Through small experiments, quick feedback, and flexible adjustments, you minimize risks and maximize learning. Second practical method, using failures as falsification data. Let me explain this really concretely. Say you started a YouTube channel. First video, 50 views. Second video, 30 views. Third video, 100 views. What do you think? Most people think, oh, I'm boring. I must have camera anxiety. YouTube isn't my path. And they give up. But falsification data utilization approaches differently. Getting 50 views on the first video means this topic or thumbnail didn't really grab people's attention. So you analyze. Was the thumbnail the problem? The title? The content? The video length? You experiment by changing variables one by one. If you listen to successful YouTubers, their first dozens of videos were mostly failures, but they learned something with each failure, and that accumulated learning led to later success. One more concrete example. Many people do online shopping as a side business these days. Say you made $1,000 in sales the first month. Easy to be disappointed, right? But viewed as falsification data, $1,000 means the market isn't completely non-existent. So what can be improved? Are the product photos the problem? The price? Wrong target customer? Marketing channel? You find improvement points one by one. Third practical method. Specific ways to turn uncertainty into competitive advantage. This is a truly powerful strategy. Think about what's happened in recent years. COVID, Bitcoin boom, Metaverse, NFTs, ChatGPT. Who accurately predicted these changes? Nobody. But interestingly, there were people who achieved great success in these uncertain situations. What did they have in common? They didn't wait for certainty. Concrete example. When COVID started, Most people waited because they didn't know when it would end, but some people immediately pivoted their business online. I know a yoga instructor. When COVID completely stopped offline classes, most instructors waited for the situation to improve, but she immediately started online classes. Initially, it was clumsy, poor video quality, poor audio quality, but she kept improving. Now, she has students nationwide and earns much more than during offline times. Why did she succeed? While others waited for certainty, she experimented and learned despite uncertainty. Because she started first, she could learn first and grow first. Now let's look at career transition for office workers with a more specific case. This is something many people worry about. For example, say you're currently doing accounting but want to transition to data analysis. What's the traditional perfect plan approach? Quit, attend data science school for a year, build a portfolio, get certifications, then change jobs. Complete preparation, one-time transition. But the open strategy is different. While continuing current work, take online courses on weekends. Start with Python basics, then do simple data analysis projects. Then volunteer for small data analysis tasks at your current company. Analyze accounting data to find insights, gaining practical experience while building a portfolio. The result? You reduce risks while increasing learning. If you discover midway that data analysis doesn't suit you, you can find another path without major losses. Many data analysts actually transitioned their careers this way. Not sudden resignation and transition, but gradually building skills and naturally transitioning. Another example. Say you want to start online teaching as a side business. What's the perfect plan approach? Spend months creating a perfect curriculum. Buy professional video equipment. Make perfect teaching materials. Then launch. But the open strategy is different. First, make a short video about one topic from your current knowledge. Film with your smartphone and upload to YouTube. See the response. Get feedback. Gradually improve. Learn what topics are actually in demand. How to explain effectively. Most successful online instructors started this way. They didn't create perfect courses from the beginning, but started with small experiments and gradually developed. Now let me summarize. Popper's wisdom interpreted from modern times goes like this. First, don't struggle to make perfect plans. Unpredictable events like COVID will keep happening. Instead, develop the ability to adapt flexibly. Second, don't fear uncertainty. It's natural, and it can actually become your unique opportunity. While others wait for certainty, you experiment first. Third, don't fear failure. Like the TikTok algorithm, failure is valuable data for learning and growth. If you learn something with each failure, it's not real failure. Final question. How do you feel about the uncertainty and open thinking we explored together today? Does any small experiment you'd like to try right now come to mind? Take it in your own way. Some might start a side project right away. Others might first change their perspective on failure. What's important is not waiting for perfect plans, but starting with small experiments you can do now. Those small experiments will come together to create your unique path. If you'd like to continue this philosophical journey together, please support us with a subscription and like. It would be even better if you shared your hypothetical experiment plans in the comments. Let's support each other's experiments and grow together. See you next time. This was Wisdom Library.